and welcome to Violin with Catherine. Today I'm going to show you how I teach students how to hold the violin bow. I'm sure there are many methods. Although today's lesson won't go into bowing on the string, I will also show you the arm placement level for each string. So stick around for that later in the video. When we learn anything, be it music or sports or any other activity where we use the body, I think one of the ultimate goals is to be able to do that activity without unnecessary added tension. I've seen students quite awkwardly prepare for their bow hold. With no disrespect to other teachers out there, we are all just trying to do our best to get our message across. However, sometimes it seemed a little too stiff, creating unnecessary additional tension and awkwardness. For example, I've often seen students come with a bit of a claw hand to try and get hold of the bow, and the fingers very stiffly trying to go into position. So instead, with my method, we begin with a really floppy, relaxed hand, because that's what we ultimately want to have. Before holding the bow, I like to begin with simply a stick or a pencil will suffice. And I have my very helpful beginner student here with me again to assist in demonstrating this process today. And I realise we're a little bit matchy-matchy with our red and red today, aren't we, darling? So I would like you to gently pick up this stick, just like that. Very nice. So you can see here that the thumb has very naturally fallen sort of very close to the middle two fingers. Beautiful. And there's a very slight bend in the thumb there. So this is actually quite similar to the placement of the fingers when we actually hold the bow. So now when we pick up the bow, we'll find that it's not extremely different to this. So I'm going to ask my student to hold the stick of the bow with the left hand here to keep it nice and steady. Now I want you to just flop this hand over like this. Now we only need to change a couple of things. We're going to get our little pinky on the tippy toes here, and we're going to bend the thumb onto the little seat behind there. Where the frog joins to the stick of the bow, we can see we've got a little, what I like to call a little seat here, and that's a little seat for our thumb. So this squishy bit on the end of our thumb, I like to think of that as our little thumb bum. So we're going to sit our little thumb bum on the seat, like this. So we don't want the thumb to climb through the frog hole, poking through to the other side. We're going to just rest it on that little seat on your side of that little seat. This is what I call our bow games, which is basically our exercises for learning how to hold the bow. So we hold the bow with the left hand a little lower than halfway, so the bow is nice and balanced and parallel with the ground. We keep our right hand really, really floppy. Floppy, floppy, floppy. We flop on, and then we just adjust two things. We're going to get our tippy toes up on the end here, our little pinky, nice and curly, and we're going to make sure we've got a bendy thumb on the other side there. From here, we're going to do little exercises for each finger. So the pinky, who's the weakest finger, we're going to do pinky push-ups. So 1, 2, 3. When we do the pinky push-ups, you'll see that the tip of the bow doesn't move very far. It's really a very tiny movement through the pinky. Importantly, the pinky needs to be staying in a curled position, not straightening out like this. We then do our pinky taps. 1, 2, 3. Then the best friends, these two are going to stay together. 1, 2, 3. They often sneak up a little higher. We're going to keep them nice and relaxed over the eye of the frog. Then our first finger is just lazing on the beach. Make sure it's not gripping onto the stick. Then our thumb, we're going to make sure that it's in a bent position, and if it's not, we'll be going between straight and bent, straight and bent, and ending with a bent thumb. Floppy, 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 tippy toes, and the bendy thumb is on the back side. And then we go through our exercises. So the pinky needs to be strengthened. So pinky push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Pinky taps. 1, 2, 3. Best friends. 1, 2, 3. First finger is just lazing on the beach, not gripping on. Thumb. Bend, straight, bend, straight, bend. You always want to finish with a bent thumb. Some common errors that I see are straight pinky, these fingers, the middle fingers coming up too high, and very, very commonly a straight thumb. From here we're going to go into our windscreen wipers. So getting our pinky and our thumb nicely activated. We don't want to grip on too hard. Remember, we're staying nice and relaxed through our hand. We're going to let go with the left hand when that's ready. Then we push with the pinky. 1, 2, 3 in the middle, all the way over. Catch with the first finger. 4, 5. Pushing back with the first finger. 1, 2, 3 in the middle. Catch with the pinky. 4, 5, and holding on with the left hand. We're then going to just make a little wave through the right wrist to make sure that we're not too stiff or tight there. One other point to mention is the right wrist. We don't want it to be up this way and we don't want it to be too bent this way, but we do want it to have just a slight bend like this. I always tell my students, imagine you're holding just a light little bag. So we've just got a gentle bend there. When we do the movement with the windscreen wipers, we also want to make sure that the whole arm is not moving. So without having our elbows too close to the body or too far out, just a nice relaxed position from here. The elbow is essentially going to stay still and the rotation comes from the forearm and developing that wrist movement as well. So from this angle, you can see the movement is coming from the wrist and forearm. Remember, if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button down below and leave me a comment letting me know how you've been taught how to hold the bow. So as I said I would at the beginning of this video, I will now show you the arm level placement for each of the strings. We're going to start by putting the bow on the string approximately around the middle of the bow. Obviously we want the bow to sit between the fingerboard and the bridge here. So with our bow on our E string, our arm level is quite low. From here, I'm going to imagine I've got a string tied to my right elbow, and I'm going to pull that string up to bring my bow up to my A string. I'm going to lift that string again to the D string and even higher up to the G string here. So essentially, the bow is in line with the upper arm. So as we move through here, the upper arm and the bow are staying in line and moving together. What we don't want is to have the bow on the E string with the elbow up like this or up too high from any of the strings. Nor do we want from the E string to leave the elbow there and lift the bow without bringing the elbow with us. All right, so we're imagining we've got a little string tied to the elbow and we're going to lift that string, our elbow, sorry. Yeah, good, and we're on the A string. Now we're going to lift a little higher to the D string and a little higher still to the G string. Beautiful. Okay, now we've got the string tied on the other side. We're going to pull it down to get to the D string, down to get to the A string, and all the way down to the E string. Beautiful, really, really well done. These bow exercises or bow games are intended to develop the dexterity and strength of the right hand and fingers. I encourage my students to practice these daily, so join me back here frequently to develop your bow hold. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe down below, new videos come out every Friday, and share it with your friends.